Picture line number 8 is the left whisk with left sway. Now for this picture line, we're going to enter it from the first 3 steps of a Viennese cross, and we're going to exit with a back whisk. So we'd now like to demonstrate this for you to music. And now for the man's foot positions. So gentlemen, we have finished with our first 3 steps of a Viennese cross. Your right foot is free, so you have back right, back left, swiveling to the side, pointing the right foot back. Now we have back right, left foot crosses behind right foot in our whisk position, and we're in promenade position. And now for your footwork. We have toe heel, and I'm going to let my right foot roll onto the top of the man's right foot. So I'll take it from a different angle so you can see. So if you watch my right foot, when I actually go to that crossing position, I'm letting the foot go to the very top of the shoe. Then from here, I step to the side and we cross behind toe and then toe heel of left foot. And now for your technique. So gentlemen, again, you're going to have very free arms. You're not going to feel like you're pulling the lady with your arms into the figure. You're going to leave your center towards the lady as long as possible as you step back right, back left, leaving the center as you transfer weight to your left foot. You will then swivel to the side and then simply cross behind with that right leg. Now, what is different about this particular left whisk as opposed to the left whisk that we did earlier is that number 1, the sway is different, and number 2, we will not have a chair action for the lady to sit on. So I'm going to take this from a slightly different angle so you can see. So I've got back right, back left. Again, I'm leaving my center towards the lady as long as possible. I then swivel and I cross behind. So if you can see that, I'm shaping strongly through a diagonal. Then from here, I'm going to use that lever off my left leg and hip to rotate back to the right to dance my whisk action. So now we'd like to ask Heather back to show us the ladies' part.
And now for the ladies' foot positions for this figure. So we've just taken the first 3 steps of the Viennese cross. We're going to step forward on the left foot, forward on the right foot, swiveling, left foot points and crosses loosely behind the right foot, left foot forward, right foot crosses behind left foot, and we're in promenade position. And now for the footwork. We have heel toe, toe heel, point, part weight, toe, toe heel. And now the ladies' technique for this figure. This particular action has quite a dramatic shape to it, okay? So what's very, very important is that we make sure that our axis and our spine is over the right foot. So from here, when I move forward and I swivel, I'm going to make sure that I keep my body over my right leg. So as I cross behind and I produce this strong arc to the right, I want to make sure that my upper body weight does not enter the back foot. Again, ladies, it does 2 things. It will put a strain on the lower back and it will make the man actually tip towards you. So on every picture line, you want to make sure that you have the point of touch with the body, but that your frame and your arms are always towards your partner. You never, ever, ever use your frame to try and direct a shape or encourage a shape to grow bigger through the upper body. Always make sure that your arms belong to your partner. So again, as I'm swiveling and I produce this action, I want to make sure that my center is on top of that leg. My position is one that when I make this shape, I'm very, very balanced. Now as I come back, my head will then recover to the left to go into the whisking action. I will then think of swiveling the feet underneath the shoulders to produce my promenade. And at this time, Victor will join me and we'll go over some finer body details and technique for this figure.
Now, continue on. As I've said earlier, the difference between this particular left whisk and the left whisk originally in the video is that the other whisk had a strong shape to the man's right, and we produced a checking action through the base so the lady could actually anchor her weight on the man's left thigh. Now, in this situation, it's more of a pointing position, so we'll try and take it at a different angle so you can see this. So even though we'll have an actual connection of touch here, the lady will not be resting her weight on the man's left leg. So if we take it from a different angle so you can see this, we'll actually go through a pointing position, so we're touching, but she's not actually sitting on my leg. We will still use that as a lever to be able to revolve the lady back out into our whisk position. Okay, so we'd like to make that very clear that the two whisk actions are different in that respect, not just in the sway, but in terms of the weight distribution in our base area. Now, going into this whisk, again, we've used the Viennese cross as our basic entry into it. Again, focus, just like many of the other line figures, in keeping the center with one another as long as possible so that we have a connection of our body weights and center. Then from here, again, we maintain our spacing. The exercise that we've used earlier on is where the lady keeps her right arm across the man's right shoulder, keeping our spacing, and then, of course, we rotate through. Now, what's very important here that I'd like to add is that even though this is going to rotate to the left, gentlemen, be aware that the lady is on the outside of the turn and that we do not want to rotate too far because you don't want to become too twisted. So we'd like to dance that for you at a slightly different angle. So from here, we hold the angle, shape, and now from here we simply just come back to our whisk position.
One of the things I'd like to talk about here, ladies, is that once we've actually made the line, I can actually take my head back to the left or leave it in promenade position. I think it is a lot easier to leave my head to the right once I've produced this shape, but it is still okay to transfer it back to the left before the whisk. So I want to demonstrate both of them for you. So from this position, as Victor and I demonstrated in the very beginning, I left my head in this position. There's a nice arc and there's a nice stretch, and I kept it here going into the actual whisk. And the other styling for this step is once I've achieved this position, from here I can actually take my head while the man is still left back to the left and then into a whisking action. I actually do prefer the first line just because it has a nice flow and a nice arc to it, and it just feels a lot more centered and balanced to me. Again, ladies, when making this line, make sure that when you transfer weight to go back into the whisking action, that you're aware of your own balance, that you're not aware of the man's balance, because quite often when we proceed to do a promenade action, especially a whisking action, there's a tendency that we, go to find a connection point with the man's body, and that will automatically take you off your feet.
Now, in discussing a few different basic timings, if we were going to be dancing tango, again, the characteristic of the dance changes, so we're trying to make things much sharper. So we could dance quick, quick, slow, slow, ending in promenade position. Now, if we're going to dance our slow quicks, we can dance quick, quick, slow, slow, slow. And that is the left whisk with left